Welcome to TNT Podcast. I'm TJ. This is my boy Trevor, my co-host, my handsome cohort, my sexy Sabbathin.
Hey. Hey.
There he is. Today we're going to be talking about the back rooms. I'm not going to lie. This is a hot topic for the both of us. When we both saw it in theaters, we went together, by the way. When we saw it in theaters, we were very hyped. Very. Like, Trevor, tell him how hyped we were.
So hyped. Why is everybody texting me all of a sudden? I'm telling you, it's always when I'm busy.
Put your phone on Do Not Disturb, please. We're in the middle of a business meeting, a recording.
I'm going to put it on sleep mode. Hope that works.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be honest. I was really damn hyped to see the Backrooms movie. I don't think TJ was as hyped as I was, but I was really hyped. I'm not going to lie. He was hyped for Obsession.
I was. I like that movie just as a premise a lot more than Backrooms. Like, I've seen Backrooms before just as a concept. I'm like, yeah, it's a cool looking thing. I like the idea of it. But Obsession to me just intrigued me more. Either way, though, I like the both of them. Well, we'll get to that later.
So the thing with Obsession and Backrooms is that Backrooms had it was Dream Corp based. You know what I mean? It was based off of something not realistic. So I will throw in that they are two very separate topics, but at the same time, I like that the thing that made Backrooms so good, which ultimately I think was the biggest problem for this movie that nobody wants to sit and recognize, is the fact that it is so open-ended that it creates too many things, if that makes sense. It creates too many scenarios, too many levels, and nobody knows when to stop. Unlike if you want to compare it to Obsession, which is, just a simple story, it knows when to end.
No, I wouldn't say that, because with Obsession, you had all the One Wish Willows, like, they sold that shit in a store, just willy-nilly. There's so many wishes that could have gone wrong in the world, so many avenues to follow through. It's just like an open-ended story in its own. But Backrooms, you could have anybody fall into it, right? Same thing goes for Obsession. It's
Right.
just how they ended the movie. Obsession wanted to tell its story, that one singular story. Backrooms had a lot more to say. Either way, though, we're not talking about Obsession. Let's get away from this fucking Obsession talk.
What are we doing?
Yeah, people love controversy, not fucking us sucking the cocks of Obsession so much. Let's do a spoiler-free stuff first, just for an opening. What was your spoiler-free thoughts of the movie?
I think that if you are a big Backrooms lore fan, and you watch the Kane Parsons films, I think you could either be really in love with it or you could really hate it. No in between.
I think I agree with you on the really love it part, because you did you watch any of the Kane Parsons stuff before the movie came out? Damn, really?
All of them. I watched it when it first blew up.
I'm your best friend.
I would watch every new release. I'd watch every new release of it too. And I'd watch it multiple times. I still watch it. I watched it literally a month before it came out. I watched all of them.
Right. Well, the thing is with the Backrooms, though, is that it takes you out of the perspective of the found footage, and you do stay in there for a little bit, but it goes outside the found footage perspective, and some of the shots they have are really good. Like, I love the cinematography of some of the scenes there, especially at the end of the movie where you're going through everything, like the ups and downs of life, the worst possible outcomes of the Backrooms. I fucking love that. Especially the spectacle of how large the area is. It really makes you feel like you could get lost in there and never find your way out. And that's deeply terrifying.
I agree. And what's crazy is that's all a hand-built set. So people were literally getting lost in the Backrooms.
Yeah, I saw that. Fucking Jacksepticeye, I think, made a video about it where he's like, I got lost in the back rooms. I'm like, oh, shit. Even he was on the set.
That's crazy.
Hold up. Time out. Coca-Cola. Oh, shh. Trevor, I got bad news for you.
What's wrong?
I opened up a Coca-Cola, and I did it with such fucking force and vigor that I sprayed it all over my sketchbook.
Good. Oh,
good?
Wait, that's your sketchbook for the notes, right?
No, my sketchbook for drawing.
Oh, shit. All right. That's not
Fuck! No, that is bad. Now I got
All
like a
your hard
coffee.
work gone.
Not even that. It's just it's coffee stained. It looks like. I'm not about to do
It's kind of
coffee
cool though.
art.
That's
Not
kind of cool
really.
though. Think about it. Yeah, that's cool. Think about it. You can make it like an old like book, like an old page.
Not
Somebody's
when it looks
lost
like this,
drawings.
man. It's literally just a streak of coffee or streak of Coca Cola. It looks like somebody pissed on my sketchbook. What were we talking about?
We were talking about backrooms in general.
Oh yeah, cinematography and all that. The I think my favorite thing about the movie is how the visuals tell the story more than the characters do. Like you can see, like especially in the first like 5 minutes, just the guy in the hazmat suit walking around with the fucking the camera, and then you can tell that the seagull fell into the back rooms. You can see its point of entry, how it got injured, and then just kept on flying. Like you could tell all that without him saying anything. They just show it to you. That's the type of storytelling I absolutely love. Especially when like not to get spoilers or anything, but at a certain part of the movie, say
I mean, you're
about
kind of spoiling with the sequel.
that's the first 5 minutes. That's hardly a spoiler.
Okay.
Yeah, the first 5 minutes are free, man. That's like the opening scene. Everybody sees that.
Uh,
Yeah, especially if it doesn't
Still
even
a
matter.
spoiler. People don't want to be spoiled for the first 5 minutes. Just saying. Just saying.
If you have a problem with 5 minute spoilers, then you have bigger problems than just spoilers, man.
I agree 100%. But still, you never know with this world. Remember, we are in a growing and changing world. Remember that.
Growing and changing. Man, we are in a sensitive world, but that's a topic for another day.
We've been, we've been. That's what I'm saying. We have become too tolerant. Think about that. That's another controversy for another day.
All right, man. All right. But yeah, there is a certain scene. There's a certain scene with our main character and some other characters. I won't delve into how they get in their predicament, but the way they use a handheld camera to convey the story of what happened in a certain area in the back rooms, fucking spectacular. I'll go into that in a bit more in the spoiler section, but for now, that's what I'll leave you with. Trevor, do you want to say anything more before we get into the spoiler-free rating of the movie?
Not at all. I want to spoil as much as possible.
Okay, well, hold on.
That's where my juiciness is at.
Hold on. Before we do that, what did you rate this movie?
So I left the theater rating it. I was very disappointed. I rated it a 3 out of 10, truthfully. I think at the same time, there was the problem that I understand they're different movies. I understand they're different plots. They're different topics. I get it. But I was very disappointed with it because of Obsession, because I saw that first. Obsession had nothing to prove. Obsession had nothing to not. It didn't even have a $1 million budget. Yet it blew me out of the water. It genuinely it was different than anything I've seen. Backrooms had so much hype going into it and such a strong expectation that it had a high hopes for me. I didn't go into that movie thinking, you know what, there's a chance this might suck and that's okay. Because they had hyped it up and spent so much money on its ad and hyping it up, if that makes sense. So so because of that, I left very disappointed. Now, granted, as I progressed in thinking on it, and I've thought about it and saw more scenes and all that, I will say that I'm gonna bump it up to maybe a 5, maybe 6 if I'm in a good mood. But I'm gonna say generally probably about a 5, and that's
What?
just for the reasons I'll list later.
I rated a 5. With time I've upgraded it to a 5.5, but leaving the theater it went from a 6 down to a 5 the more I thought about it.
Oh,
What's
really?
your reason? Yeah, what's your reasoning for bumping it up from a 3 to a 5 or a 6 depending on the day?
So my reasoning is that I sat there and I had thought about some of the scenes. I'm not going to talk about I'm not going to say what scenes, but there were some scenes between two character arcs, and I'm like, damn, you know what? That was a lot better than I gave it credit for. Like seeing it individually, not seeing it after watching, the same movie for an hour. You know what I mean? Like as watching as I watched in visual scenes, I just enjoyed it a little bit more, just because I was able to appreciate the character and I was appreciative of things that I didn't see previously.
Hmm.
But at the same time, in the movie setting, you can't justify it though. That's it's not an excuse, but it's still I will give it credit that I did judge it a little too harshly. Also, I was trying not to shit my guts out, so that was probably part of it too. Yeah, there was a point in the movie where my stomach started cramping. Not because it was scary, but dead ass. 'Cause I thought, damn, do I got a shit? And that was still when the movie was kind of good. And then after the scene ended, I said, I held in a shit for that. That's my first thought. But then there's a part of me that's like, man, I don't want to miss the movie because I paid money. But not a single scene justified it after that for me to hold in the shit. I think that's why I'm mad more than anything. I held in a shit for that movie. So I was hopeful there. I wasn't about to have explosive diarrhea while watching those scenes. So I was able to give it a little bit more credit. So there was that too. But why did your rating go down though?
It's mostly just me thinking about. Okay, well here, if we're gonna talk about why we gave it our ratings, let's go into spoiler territory. So from this point on, spoilers only. Spoilers. If you don't like it, click off the video or just stick around if you don't care. Okay, the reason why I gave it a 5.5 or why it went down from what I watched it is me thinking about the entire. Okay, so the movie goes from Clark, and you follow him through the entire first act, and he's spectacular, amazing actor. I feel like his character was done very well in that first act. The first 30 to 45 minutes, fucking spectacular. I loved it. Like I was gobbling it up. After that, immediately downhill. The more I thought about Mary and how stupid she is, it just made me mad, more and more mad. Every time I thought of Mary coming on screen and just doing the worst shit possible, it just got me so angry that I was like, you know what? I'm dropping my shit down from a 5. It stuck with me because she was so idiotic. Like what pissed me off the most was that she got kidnapped by her patient Clark. Right? Choked out, locked in the back rooms, and she can never escape again unless she's got the mind of an architect. I'll get to that point later. But she's locked in the back room with Clark. No one is going to find her. It's just her, the demons that she sit next to, the backrooms people, and then what'd she do? You're sick! You're fucking sick! This guy is holding a knife. He fucking plunged a knife in the backroom's people's head, and then he's like, "Where my wife's scalp?"
Yeah.
And you had the balls to say, "Fuck you!"
No.
No.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Not only that, when she's running from the fucking pirate Clark and she twists her ankle on the couches, oh my god, man!
I don't know how you do that.
They're just they're sofas. They're fucking sofas, man. It's cushion.
How do you do it on a sofa?
That's not the worst part either. That's not the worst part. She goes into the back rooms. She sees Clark, right? She finds his drawings, his paintings of himself, the pirate captain or whatever the fuck that creature was. She sees the paintings, turns around, and what's Clark doing? Hiding behind her corner, peeking at her. like a maniac, a psychopath. And she says, "Clark, is that you?" No! That's a demon! That's not Clark! Not anymore!
It was Clark. It was psychotic Clark.
It was Clark, but I'm just saying, that's not the Clark she knew.
Yeah.
I don't like Mary as a character, and what makes it worse is Mary's acting. Every time she was on screen, it's always just breathing heavy the entire time. Like, I feel like she could have done a lot more to convey her emotions other than breathing like a fish out of water. I don't know. Clark blew it out the park with his acting. Mary, not so much.
So that's what I was going to get into. Sorry guys, I'm going to be a little gross on this one, but so the popcorn clearly did not agree with me at our theater. About 20 minutes in, I was having the worst stomach cramps ever, and I was like trying to hold back an explosive dookie. So I admit that I was a little bit skewered in my thoughts. At the time, I was rating it 3 because Clark's acting was good, but I was kind of like, What the fuck? I was just in a bad mood because I was upset about the popcorn, so I judged Clark a little too harshly. So that's why I upgraded mine. You pretty much put it right on the money there. Clark's acting was amazing. Clark was the only redeeming factor about that whole thing. You know what I mean? He was the only good part about that movie, in my opinion. Like actor wise, he said his whole monologue about not wanting to change, that he likes it down there. He feels like he can be an art. Like, he didn't say this, but you could tell he could feel like he could be an architect with the people that he liked having around him, and it's so I liked that. I liked that monologue, that feeling of watching him cry, watching him finally admit man, I like it this way. Ultimately that led to his demise, but. Which was the dumbest thing ever, by the way. His death was stupid.
Yeah.
I don't care what he says.
Yeah.
His death was so fucking stupid. And he did not deserve to go out like that. Such a good character does not deserve to die like that. But I understand it's emotion conveyed because they're trying to say, once he didn't want to change is when he dies to his own self, basically. But stupid regardless. But yeah, I agree 100%. Mary was fucking retarded. I didn't like her acting. I understand that she had a lot of trauma, and I try to feel for her, but it's hard to feel for her when you're a stupid actor and you're trying not to shit your pants. Just saying.
Fair enough.
It's hard for me to give a fuck about you in that moment. I'm too worried about not stinking up the theater. Outside of that, though, what I was going to mention, though, I want to mention this, though. You talked about Pirate Clark, and I feel like I'm looking all over TikTok. You look all over Instagram. You see, not once. Actually, sorry, it's a lie. I've seen it 3 total comments talk about how stupid Pirate Clark is. I don't care what anybody says. He looks like a fucking retard. I told Allie this, and I told you this right after the theater. It is Black Captain Crunch if he had Down syndrome and what was it, a fucking stroke. He badass looks stupid. He looks like Black Captain Crunch. I can't get past it. He's fucking stupid. They did this big ass. You know what's the worst part about it? The found footage was so good, and I loved that scene where Clark is trying to. I forgot her name. I'm not gonna lie. She was kind of irrelevant, but the cameraman's girlfriend.
Yeah. I think her name was Amy or Amanda or something like that.
Some shit like that. But yeah, when she's talking to Clark and he's like, "Where are you? Where are you?" and you see the camera slowly go all the way up into the air, unnaturally higher. Clearly showing the monster god. I'm like, holy shit, this monster is gonna be so fucking cool. And then I see that shit. You kidding me? You kidding me? And he dies, and he kills Clark by just eating him in the throat. Man, what the fuck?
I have a question. The first 5 minutes where the hazmat suit guy, he runs into the monster, the back rooms, it's just a black figure. That's not Clark, right? That's not Clark at all.
That's Captain Clark. That is Captain Clark. No. If you look...
Is it?
It is. You look at his still frame. If you look at the shot, right when you see the figure, you see the peg leg. It was Captain Clark the whole time.
Oh, that's crazy. So
Which makes me even more angry.
Captain Clark was the backrooms monster since fucking before the dawn of time? Captain Clark was the monster?
Basically.
I'm not a fan of that.
So either my theory is that the guy who died at the very end of the movie, basically. They just showed in the beginning. And if that's as an intro, and if that's the case, that's the only excuse I can give. Outside of that, I think it's fucking stupid. And regardless, I think the monster's stupid. That shit was not scary. He went. I'm telling you, it felt like I was back in high school taking a history test. Just saying. It felt like we were looking at the kid. You know what it reminded me of? You know what it actually exactly reminded of when he was for a second, and sounding sad for a second. He's doing that. You know what that exactly reminded me of? That reminded us when we were in high school, and what was his name? Just some shit was crying over the math exam that he failed.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's exactly what it reminded me of.
Quietly sobbing in the corner. Teacher's just trying not to laugh. I remember that.
So crazy that the teacher was trying not to laugh. That's the funniest part.
Yeah, because it was a dead silent room, and the teacher was just staring at him from across the room, just fucking looking at him as he's crying to himself. Like it was just very silent sobs. It was so sad to hear, but at the same time, it's like a dead silent room. Everyone's focused, locked in on their test. Immediately,
Or on their
concentration broken. Just it's so fucking sad.
It was really funny though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It made me
Anyways,
laugh so much. But yeah. Anyways, going back to it, I don't know. That's my biggest gripe with the monster. I'm gonna leave it at that for now. Let you take over. But like, he just like I don't know how anybody could look at that monster and go, "That is so scary." If you think that shit is scary, you have not seen Scary. I'm just saying that right now.
I agree and disagree at the same time. Pirate Clark or Captain Clark's design, I don't like it for the sake of a backrooms monster when the hype has been all built up to this like this giant fucking inhuman creature, and it turns out just to be Captain Clark. You see his fucking peg leg and big ass bulgy eyes. Like,
Yeah, right.
I think the idea of the backrooms taking whatever is above it or whatever's in the real world and copying it and distorting it, I like that idea. It's just
I do too.
the design itself I'm not a fan of, if that makes sense. Like I like the idea. The concept is cool. The actual design, not so much. Excuse me.
I will say the thing with Pirate Clark, right, is that I would have been much happier if he was also a still life like Mary. But the thing is, did you watch Kane Parsons' original like films, like his
No.
original stuff?
I only watched the Backrooms movie. That's all I have
So
to go
in his
off of.
original lore, it was that somebody slipped in, right, and this, like, I admit it looked like a stick figure, but it was like a black stick figure monster that started chasing him. And in the moment, you're like, and I'll be honest, stick figure monster looks stupid. I'm not gonna sit there and say Pirate Clark was like good. Like, I will not say he was bad in comparison to the stick figure monster, the bacteria. But I wish they grew off of the bacteria more, if that makes sense. I think if there was if there was a bacteria monster and somehow made it just a little bit more humanoid, like there's just this black monster that's like tall black monster, a little more humanoid, I think it'd be a lot cooler. Because the movie, how he originally had it was, as far as I remember, was that Async was almost like a private contracting like business for the government, right? And it was in there to help free space, overpopulation, all that. And this is what they discovered in there, right? These things that don't make sense. So, and within that, they found out these are these life forms, and I didn't mind the life forms of the still lives. I don't mind that at all. They actually think it's a cool concept. But they showed the bacteria monster, like, they showed Kane, like, the character's dead body that died to the bacteria. They show how he's decomposing because of this and how the bacteria affected him. And it's almost like, in a way, like a sci-fi horror. And I don't care what anybody says. I think sci-fi horrors are pretty cool. And, like, Annihilation was, even though that one wasn't the greatest one in my opinion, I still think that was really cool. It was a cool sci-fi horror. You know what I mean? Like, for example, and I think they could have really built off of his original film by doing that, and I think it was really disappointing that they didn't.
Yeah, I don't know any of the lore from the videos he made on his channel. All I have to go off of is the movie itself, because that's all I've seen. All I've seen. Yeah, sorry for the voice crack. I'd say people saying that they don't understand what's happening in the movie, I feel like they weren't paying attention at all to it, because I was able to pick up on literally every single theme, fucking character, idea, thought, whatever they had. I was able to pick up on it pretty easily. Like it's very well conveyed through the camera, the cinematography. But I will say, dude, the most annoying part about this movie to me was the dialogue. Oh my god. Literally every time a character was on screen, they were either pouring their heart out like they were like they're in a therapy session, which it makes sense, the therapist relationship between Clark and Mary. I understand that. It's just not every scene or dialogue has to have them be a therapy session. Like, I would much rather have. Okay, I'm gonna paint a picture about like to give you an idea. Clark, Mary, the two others, the manager,
Employees.
Amanda or Amy, the employees. The four of them get stuck in the back rooms. They cannot find their way out. Clark is supposed to be like the leader. Imagine that. They're stuck in the back rooms. We're only through the camera's perspective. I would much rather see that and have the characters interact with each other back and forth and figure out what their dynamic is through subtlety than have them outright say, I feel sad. I don't like doing this anymore. I'm mad because my wife left me. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Let's move on to somebody else.
How the hell do we get out of here? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it just goes on too long with how much they're willing to portray or to give out from themselves just in any given moment. Like especially at the end of the movie, Phil, the guy from Async, the guy is watching Clark through the cameras. Why is he sharing how he feels to Mary as the interrogator for Async? Why the fuck is it? The backrooms mean everything to me. Without the backrooms, I would be nobody. I couldn't live without the backrooms. Why are you telling her this? Why? What the fuck is the point of you sharing this information? The movie ends in 5 minutes. It's like they didn't know how to convey the subtlety of their characters without just outright just fucking throwing it at your face. Fuck here. Like I'm pissed off by how much they're willing to share. That's my gripe with the dialogue.
So, I think that. So, I have a genuine question, and I was thinking about this yesterday. Do you think the movie would have been better if it was longer, like an hour longer?
No.
I
don't think so.
I think it would have. And the reason why is because even at the end of the day, I still think the life forms or the
still
Pirate
lives.
Clark, I still think that shit is stupid. I think the still lives is a cool concept, just portrayed a little weirdly. I would have liked to see. My biggest problem is you supposedly have this, like, this is a little bit of a plot hole, I guess, in a way. You supposedly have these infinite, like, almost like, thousands and thousands of square kilometers of straight up back rooms, right?
Mm-hmm.
How like, especially considering the situation with, like, Clark and all of them falling in the hole and, like, barely surviving and all that, right?
Yeah.
How the hell did Mary find Clark so fast? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, you had all this bullshit go on. They've been running for a long ass time. They're in a fucked situation, right? They fell in different rooms. They're like almost in different levels in a way. Even or like different sections of this back rooms, whether that's like floor 1, floor 2, floor 3. That's the best way I can describe it. But yet somehow the second Mary goes through the hole and wanders around for 5 minutes, they're already together. I would have liked to see Mary trying to understand the backrooms better. Because the whole thing is obviously about mental health. That is the obvious, like, subtext behind it, I guess, like the metaphor, the theme. Like, it's obviously about this. And we clearly see she lived with her mother was, like, schizophrenic, negligent. You know what I mean? Like, I would have loved to see her make up her own opinions, have a chance to make up her own fears, almost have her own character arc for it. You know what I mean? Like I really would have loved to see that. I would have loved them to wait a bit before they got to get together and then let it progress together the way it did. You know what I mean?
Okay, so here.
Also, they didn't convey very well Clark's time frame of going insane. We have no clue how long it took for them.
Also, yeah, that too. Fucking Clark, he's like completely sane in one scene. He runs away from the Pirate Clark, meets Pirate Clark. Cut away. Act 2, Mary. Enters the back rooms. Comic book villain. That motherfucker is insane to the membrane. I don't know what the hell happened in this time over there, but there was a switch that flipped and somehow he's just completely gone. Mass murderer. I don't understand that shift. It could have been done a lot better. But I want to go back to your point of Mary and the schizophrenic mother and depression, all that, or the mental health side of things, because I actually had something to say. Something I do like about Mary is how they showed the like her mom is schizophrenic. the scene with her mother in there, it's always like, what? I didn't tell you can go outside. I said, no, I never, ever, ever said you can leave the house. And then that curiosity in her mind, because she doesn't know the dangers of outside. So that curiosity is what leads her into the back rooms to try and figure out if the fear that she has of the outside or the unknown is like if it'll get back in a way. What I like how they did though is that her fears were proven correct, because it's like her mom said, don't go outside, don't do this, don't do that. And then she goes out into the unknown, sees what her mother was talking about, and that kind of like, it's a cool way to connect the two. I really like that about Mary's character. But
I do too.
What I don't like is fucking everything else Mary does. I'm not gonna lie.
You know what I wish I saw? I really wish I could understand the relationship. Like, I understand it, but I wish they expressed Clark and his ex-wife's like relationship a bit more. You know what I mean? I'm fine with it being up for interpretation, but I think it would have been cool to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we never meet Clark's wife, like, ever.
No, we don't. We just see her as a still life, and then that's it. You know what I mean? It would have. I understand that there's things are left to be open for interpretation, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's really cool, but at times, and I think it could work really well at times, but there has to be a level of like telling that straight up describes it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to start sucking Obsession's dick again on this for an example. Like, and this has nothing to do with plot, by the way, for anybody who sees this and it's like, oh, he's bringing up Obsession, they're two different movies, because everybody talks about that. I'm gonna talk about Clark the first time he was doing role playing with Mary. He talks about being drunk, and he talks about him getting angry a little bit, and he just says, you can get off your fat ass. That's it, right? And then, I mean, and obviously, I think it was honed in that was the divorce. That was the final argument, almost, that, like, caused them to break up. But the thing is, they don't elaborate much more after that. What happened, what happened after? You know what I mean? Like, Jenny, what happened between them after to, like, make this so much worse? You know what I mean? Because they didn't because I know they described a little bit of them arguing, but like it obviously was honed in that they were arguing a little bit, but it wasn't really brought up as much as I wish it should have been. There had to be some bigger reason for them to divorce suddenly after an argument like that, right? Now let's use and I wish they used that through subtext. If they didn't want to show it, that's fine, but they could have used subtext and context clues to show that. Obsession, for example. It was so obvious that there's a possibility that Nikki would have been down to date Bear, or at least go on a date with him, if Bear had just said his true feelings. She never directly said that, but she showed it through context clues and little things here and there, right? It's just Bear was too much of a pussy to say anything. And that's what made that story 10 times more tragic. And I would have thought Clark's character would have been 10 times more tragic, and that death would have been 10 times more tragic if regardless of the shitty monster, if that subtext was there. Because it would explain why his wife's still life came running off the second that Pyro Clark showed off, right? Almost like she's scared of him, is going to abuse him, right? It would have made me go, damn, that's a cool callback right there. You know what I mean? It would have showed him saying, I don't want to change. So he dies, ultimately, because obviously he doesn't want to change. But it would help hone in everything almost like way more beautifully. You know what I mean? I wish they went with that route there. I wish they explored that a little bit more.
Yeah, the thing with his wife and Clark, it feels kind of like a shortcut to have Mary be the conduit between the two. Like the role play scene in therapy session, I feel like that was a very obvious shortcut to just not have another actor be the wife. I would have much rather just had a scene between Clark and his wife, like giving context but not awkwardly doing it, because as it is now, it feels like Mary just all of a sudden, you want to role play with me? You want to role play? I could be your wife. No, man.
Yeah,
get
right?
the fuck out. Get away from me!
You know what else it would have done? It would have made it way cooler when he was scalping his life form's hair and then put it on her. Made the role play
Especially
10 times
if we
better.
knew what his wife... especially if he knew what his wife looked like before the still life. Like, we don't have any
Yeah.
context of what she looks like until the still life comes into play. And then, like, when I was watching the scene of him cutting the scalp off of his wife, I was like, who is this? Why does this matter? And then
Yeah.
you had, I think it was you who turned to me and was like, yeah, that's his wife. I was like, oh,
That has to be his
shit.
wife.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
like,
I said, I think that's his wife.
yeah, I was so confused. But
Yeah.
either way though, they could have done a lot more. Like, there was so much potential for greatness in Clark as a character, but they just went down the shortcut, I feel like, for the movie.
Yeah.
Because I think what they want to
I
do
agree.
is, I think they want to have multiple different perspectives throughout all the movies of Backrooms, kind of like
Yeah,
how
like
it is in
different
the.
films.
Yeah, is that how they did it in the channel?
No, they didn't have different perspective. Oh, kind of. What they did is they had different async members or like different explorations or
Oh, I
like
see.
so the original guy falls over, falls into the back rooms, he dies, blah blah blah, right? Then you now have async going in and researching this and figuring it out. So that's maybe one episode. Then you have another episode where maybe you have another episode where maybe it shows his autopsy report, and so you have the doctor hearing about that. Almost like a different scene, just showing different characters. And then you have another one where maybe it's a different async member going through a different weird like thing, or a different async member discovering something way different. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. So that's more what it is. I don't think they should. I wouldn't. It was similar to what you're saying, but I wouldn't say it's totally like it. If that makes sense. It's like different films, I guess. But I don't know. The other thing I wish they did is, you know what I was really disappointed about? Kane Parson made all his own music for the original Backrooms lore, right? For his Backrooms. I mean he made his own stuff, but I wish he utilized more of his own sounds and songs. Cuz they were genuinely so unique and beautiful and like so good for the Backrooms that like that I think that would have helped it, because a lot of the music was pretty much, every horror movie music. You know what I mean? I mean, I had a couple ones that were different, but a lot of it so was the same thing as usual. And that was the first thing I said. I was like, man, you're already using the same music that we already know, like that we already hear all the time in every other horror movie. Come on. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I actually like the music they used in the back rooms. I felt it was very atmospheric. Like, it really got you in the
I disagree.
setting and locked in or immersed. I fucked with it.
I mean, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I mean, every one of those musics is supposed to get you in the moment, but I like music that really, really stands out. You know what I mean? And the thing is that it didn't stand out to me. I was just like, all right, it's another horror movie thing. Yeah, it gets me into the moment, but there's nothing about that makes me like. It gets me involved into the scene, but it doesn't give me the emotion, if that makes sense.
Yeah, fair enough. Like
Like,
with
I'm sorry, sucking Obsession's dick again.
I was about to say,
Obsession did
yeah.
a fantastic at that. They did fantastic. Like when Nikki and Bear fell in love, you felt that emotion of, oh my gosh, they're falling in love. This is great. You know what I mean?
Oh,
When
I see what you're
Nikki
talking about. I see what you're talking
when
about.
Nikki was sitting in the corner crying, saying, "I don't feel like you love me as much as I do," and you heard some of that, like the slight little music coming up. You know what I mean? The weirdness of it. You're
Yeah.
like, damn, you know what? I would be feeling that exact same way. What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like how Bear was
Yeah,
feeling.
the
Like,
the music to you, it didn't invoke the emotion that you got while watching Obsession. You got spoiled.
yeah,
I should have said let's wait till after Backrooms to see it. I fucking spoiled you with that movie. Yeah, I kind of spoiled you going into Obsession like that because the movie was
yeah,
really good, and I got a feeling for these things. I got a fucking feeling. I always know when a movie's gonna be good. Backrooms,
yeah,
I went in with no expectations. I didn't know anything about it. Well, I knew it existed, but that's the extent of what I knew. Like,
yeah.
I wasn't paying attention to the lore of Kane Parsons, but I had a feeling it wouldn't be as good as some of the other movies we watched together.
Yeah, that's fair. And that's the one thing I kind of sat there. I was like, it's one of those movies where it's so good. I'm gonna have to rewatch it. I'm not rewatching it in theaters, but I'm definitely gonna rewatch it again sometime. And honestly, I think what sucks is I don't care. I think it's unfair that people are saying, that Um, I think it's unfair that people are saying, what's the way to put it? I think it's unfair when people are being like, "Oh, you can't compare these two movies," but because they're different, like plots and different contexts and all that. Which to an extent, I agree. But I think the problem is these are two movies that came out roughly in the same month, right? Roughly, or if it's not the same month, it's been about. Actually, they were the same month. Yes, they were the same month. They came in roughly the same month. They were both projected. One was projected to be absolute nothing. The other one was projected to do fantastic. Yet the opposite results happened. And I think, at least that's how it feels. The opposite results happened for me. But they both are in a high competition with each other money wise, in revenue and all that. But yet one somehow, it's like one's an underdog. You know what I mean? And I don't think people are giving that enough credit. I think dismissing the two comparisons between each other is not fair. I think it's discrediting both movies. But yeah, I you did spoil me a little bit. I admit that I was spoiled because I saw that movie first. The second I saw a movie, I said, I know Backroom's not gonna be as good as this. This is it's like once a decade. That is a once a decade kind of movie, if not once every 50-year level of like really good movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I did have a good feeling about it.
I sat there and I went. I saw that. I went, fuck, man. I don't know. I said, fuck. I don't know if I'm gonna like Backrooms nearly as much as I thought I was going to. And the problem is, and what's worse about it, the reason I knew that was because I will still say I think that is a top 5 movie of all time that I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
Like that movie was so good that Heike might have to buy it. Probably one of the rare movies I will buy. Because it's that good.
I'd say both of them did a really good job. Curry and Kane, they did an amazing job with their atmosphere. Like every time we went to the back rooms, I felt fucking terrified. I felt terrified for the characters just because of how unknown it was. Like when Clark is walking to the back room, when Clark is walking to the back rooms for the first time, I'm thinking, holy shit, it could be literally around any corner. And the stop sign to tell him, hey, you gotta turn around or you're gonna get lost in here forever. That stop sign was like a foreshadowing, I guess.
Yeah,
no,
it was really cool.
Symbolism.
Or like seeing the furniture store in the back rooms. Mm-hmm. I understand it was a chase scene, but still, that was a cool ass thing to see.
Yeah, it's really cool to see it. Like have them do Kane, you do a really good job having callbacks. Just in general, having characters and sets and all that be called back to. Fucking love that. Yeah. Like every time I was in the movie theater and I saw a callback scene, I felt like what's his name, or Leonardo DiCaprio, I think. Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio and what's that one movie where he's like whistling and pointing and shit? He got the beer in hand. I felt like that every time I got a callback.
I agree with that 100%. And my favorite thing was like, I'll say my favorite scene of the whole movie, and it was just because it was so like, I don't care what anybody says. It was not scary. People saying, "Oh, this is such a scary scene." It was not scary, but that's okay. Which is the scene where the
Christmas tree scene. Yep,
that was so good. And the reason why it was not scary, I knew there's a jump scare. I knew there was something gonna pop out at me. That's not what scared me because I was so immersed in the fact of, holy shit, this is like Christmas when I was a kid. You know what I mean? You just see that there, and you're like,
yeah, nostalgia.
Yeah, that nostalgia comes in. It's nostalgic. You feel like the way they portrayed the music coming off of the tree, like everything about it, I was just like, wow, this is like really gorgeous. You know what I mean? For a moment you think, it's the calm before the storm again. You know what I mean? It's like, man, this is great. The eye of the hurricane. You know what I mean? It's beautiful. It's beautiful chaos is what it is. It's beautiful chaos. And then next thing you know, the chaos comes right back in and you're like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean? And then it gets scary as shit again. The chase was tense. The monster was not, though, in my opinion.
Well, between Clark and Mary? Or Captain Clark and Mary?
No. No, the one with, what's his face?
Oh,
Clark in the still life. Him, like, you don't know. That's the first time you see a still life move. You know what I mean? That's the first time you really see the monster. So, a monster, I guess. So you don't know what it is.
Honestly, what freaked me out the most in the entire movie was seeing the dude with the lampshade, because you just see his shadow moving in the dark. I'm like, yo, holy fuck, they're moving. Yeah. There's something right in front of us, and we don't even know what it looks like. Lampshade comes on. It's just some dude in a chair.
Bro, it's Stephen Hawking. That's all it is. It's Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, Stephen Hawking. What? Hold up, yo. What? I just had a fucking Jimmy Neutron brain blast. Why were they like hostile in the Christmas tree room, but everything after that, it was just all peace and butterflies. Like, especially with his wife. His wife just goes charging at him from the corner of the room, and then as soon as that scene's over with, the chase scene's done, we see Clark again in like psychopath mode. Mary's just chilling in the corner. Why? Why is she running at him and not the other direction away from Captain Clark? How she's supposed to? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me at that point. But
yeah, I agree. I saw the still lifes and I was like, wait, they're good? Are they friendly now? What the hell?
Yeah, like
you can't,
I don't.
no
how the fuck did he tame a still life? What? This is not Pokemon,
right? Right. I don't understand it either. That was a little weird. Oh, okay, but Stephen Hawking, I understand. He probably just like wheeled him around, dude. Like, I get that, but I don't know. That shit was a little weird. I think so. What?
The comedic timing on the lampshade in the fucking kitchen, where he says, "Can you please get the lights? Turn off the lights himself." The kind of lampshade just turns it on the corner. Fucking hilarious. Whoever thought of that's comedic genius. I love him.
There's what else I think? You know, I will say one thing I wished was a little different.
What's that?
I wished that the chase scene with Mary. I admit that the monster not being the monster, like the monster not being scary, was part of the reason I could not get into the chase scene with Captain Clark and Mary. But I still that chase scene was not tense at all. There was nothing tense about it. Like, probably the most tension I had was when she was slowly crawling up the stairs. And even then, I was never really even tense. I was kind of just like,
hurry the fuck up, please. Hurry up. You're being chased by a murderer.
Also, why the fuck did she not shut the hatch after?
That's also true.
Let's other comment. How the fuck did he get through the skinny ass little piece of like frame?
Brother is 8 feet tall almost, and somehow he fit through that tiny ass hatch, and Mary can hardly fit through. She had to squeeze her hips through it, and then somehow he just fucking crinkles up his bones to fit through.
Yeah.
No, man.
That he can fit through that tight little walkway and and he can fit up the stairs like as fast as he did.
Yeah, and whenever Mary is like finally escaping to Captain Clark and going through that tiny ass hole in the wall, you're telling me he can't just turn his shoulders and walk through too? He was able to fit through the hole.
Right?
What's stopping him? Oh, and that's I'm about to go into a point that really made me mad when I saw it. Out of the entire fucking world-long back rooms, we don't know how, the infinite expanse of the back rooms, Mary somehow runs into the only people that can save her. How does this make sense? They don't even know she's there. They don't even know she's there. They say, who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And then she just walks up to him. She gets sprayed in the face, maced in that bitch, and then she gets knocked out. For what's that, the third time in the movie? Third or second time?
That she got maced?
No, that she got knocked the fuck out.
That was the second time.
I thought it was the third. Yeah, it's the third because she got knocked out or like dazed or whatever whenever she was running from Captain Clark, and then immediately afterwards she got knocked out again by Async.
She didn't get knocked out though. That was the thing. She was getting maced with something, but
yeah, the sleeping agent. She was getting
sprayed with some shit. She didn't get knocked out. She didn't get knocked out though. She just like lost her motor skills and then just randomly locked back in when she heard "Duh!"
Yeah, I don't understand that.
And then she runs away and then gets fucked up.
I don't like that. I don't like the end of that chase scene. How she had to like grab her rock and bash him over the head with it. Like we literally just saw.
I don't understand the meaning behind it still.
Not even that. We just saw Captain Clark. Like, okay, we thought they were about to go in for a hug, right? They're going all slow together. Captain Clark picks Clark up. And then he goes to bite down on him. Clark is literally pushing him away with all the strength he can muster. That motherfucker ain't even budging. He's not even moving. Right. And you're telling me somehow Mary is able to hold him by the shoulders, push him off of her? He will bite down on your throat, man. He's gonna fuck you up regardless. Yeah. There's no way in hell that Clark can fight back and then do nothing to him. But Mary somehow has just got the strength of Hulk to hold him back. That makes no sense. She should
Yeah,
be
I agree with
dead.
that. I agree. She should have been dead. I would have been fine with her dying too.
Yeah. One thing I don't like about Clark is how he died. I feel like we could have used him so
Yeah.
much better if he just stayed alive throughout the movie. That's not even me liking the character. I feel like because okay, he's an architect in the back rooms. I don't think there's any other person in the world that is more qualified to enter the back rooms than a fucking architect. Can you imagine what it looks like 2-3 movies down the line? Like after the chasing with Captain Clark and he's got his 2 employees by his side. I looked at my notes. Her name's not Amy or Amanda. It's Catherine.
Catherine.
Yeah, like imagine that's the last we see of Clark in this movie. Mary goes in. They don't have that scene with Clark because that scene was. I don't like that one. I'm not gonna lie. The kitchen table one. It felt like it went on
Yeah.
way too long. Way too long for.
There's a couple of good moments, but it wasn't worth it.
I feel like they could have set that up a lot better if they just waited till the next movie. If they're gonna end it on a cliffhanger, anyways. But
Yeah.
imagine Clark like 2-3 movies down the line, right? He comes back, another callback to make you point and whistle at like Leonardo DiCaprio, and then
Yeah.
we see him with an entirely mapped out back rooms as far as he can go. That makes sense for him to be all insane, all crazy. I feel like they just made a shortcut
Yeah.
beeline to the end of Clark's story with that final kitchen scene. If they did it so much later in the story, or the overarching story, then it'd be a lot more rewarding. Or it'd make a lot more sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it would make his death sadder too.
Exactly.
It'd be like, fuck, you just killed one of my favorite characters. You know what I mean? Like in a way where you're actually sad about
Yeah,
it.
because he's the first
Not
one.
a,
He's the
"Damn,
first
he
perspective we
did."
see too. That's the first perspective we see enter the back rooms, and we're with him from his most sane, and then he ends up being this deteriorated, psycho, fucking madman, just living to be the architect of the back rooms, the keeper of the back rooms. That would be some fire. That would be so fire. I would love that. But no, he just gets bitten on the neck and then tossed around like a sex doll. Like, come on, man. You had so much potential for greatness that you just tossed out the window.
Yeah, I don't know. My other thing that I will say, uh, so the thing is, I feel like saying this opinion is a little unpopular. I think it's probably my most unpopular opinion. Like, I don't know if I don't think I've heard anybody I've said this to agrees with me on this. I think the movie in general would have been so much better if he just randomly fell in there. I think that plot would have been way better because I think it would have added the tension to the scene, the scariness, right? I have no problem with Mary then going out and being like, where are you, Clark? You know what I mean? I can't figure it out. But like, let's say it was let's also use Kane Parts and stuff. Literally he experimented with the fact that there's portals, right? But they're like portals on the floor, if that makes sense, right? So let's say he just stepped on the wrong tile and fell right through, right? That's how it happened. Imagine Mary going through the same thing. She went to go find him and then fell through the portal
At
a
the
random
furniture
point.
store, too.
Like,
Yep.
yeah, that would have been way better than how they had it. You know what I mean? Like, I really just and I'm fine with them exploring it. I would be fine. You know what? I'd be fine with Clark dying that way. I'd been fine with Mary dying it that way. I wish it was more of a tragedy and not a thriller almost.
No, I mean the reason why they have it like that is because the characters need to have a choice to enter the back rooms. That's the whole reason why they go on their journey in the first place. Clark, he had to
I think it's stupid.
he had the divorce. He had the furniture store when he wanted to be an architect. His dreams are turned to failures. He has nothing else but the back rooms. That's why he makes the conscious choice to go deeper into it, to keep going back for more and discover more, because that's all he has. Mary, she has that choice to go and explore the unknown because her mom always told her not to explore the unknown, right? That they have to make the conscious choice as their character just to give them that push, because otherwise then they're just some random Joe Schmo we don't care about regardless of what happens to them.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I wish the movie was longer because if they had some sort of connection, right? Like, if they had a connection where they showed like Clark, like they start off showing maybe Clark and his wife's divorce going on, right? Show that nothing's going his way, right? off the bat you're saying, damn, I kind of feel bad for this guy. You know what I mean? And then as time progresses, like you show the therapy sessions, you watch their therapy, and you watch his relationship with his therapist grow. You know what I mean? Actually become meaningful. Not just, oh, this guy's just going to see a therapist, that's all right. You know what I mean? Like you actually see him have a therapist, client relationship growing. You know what I mean? So then when he randomly disappears, you know, then it's almost like she like I'm trying to say, it's almost like when she disappears, that's when like you see how like you see that relationship split, right? Like a search and rescue, it makes sense. It would flow better when they go in together, or that they go together and he finds him, or she finds him, or he finds her. You know what I mean? I think it would make. I think it could tie up to Async better, because Async was already working on it, right? Was already doing stuff clearly in the back rooms. So is stumbling upon the cameras, stumbling upon random things still works in those scenes. Same thing for Mary. Stumbling upon a random monster still works. Like things still work fine in the back rooms if they just fell right in. It adds creepiness. It adds that feeling of like desperation. It would like, sorry, try not to bring Obsession back into this. Obsession had the best feeling of like, oh fuck.
Yeah. Oh, you know shit.
I mean? Like despair. That feeling of I am never getting out of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Thrown into the deep end without a paddle or raft or lifeboat, nothing. Just left there to swim alone.
Exactly. And I wish they did the same thing for that. Instead of it being a, hey, let me go in here, let me grab a chair, and let me leave. You know what I mean?
Well, they could have done that for both.
I could sell on eBay for $10.
They could have done that for both Clark and Mary. Like Clark, he has the conscious choice to go explore the unknown or keep exploring the back rooms because he has nothing else on the outside. He remembers where the exit is because he's an architect, so he has like a conscious, a passive map of the area about him. I like that idea. Mary. She could get lost in there, and then we could have that same effect where she's like in the unknown, the deep end, just fucking floundering.
Yeah.
We could have that. A good compromise. Compromise with two ideas.
I would have. You know what I've also would like, even though he mapped out every single room in the back rooms, right? Imagine if that portal closed.
That'd be a good idea.
That could have worked too.
That'd have been a good idea,
Yeah,
like especially when him trying to find the door, but like feeling around the wall and shit, like that'd be a good what's it called, suspense moment.
Like he's feeling around, you're like, oh shit, he can't get out, he's stuck, and then he finds the portal, and you're like, oh, and then you see him go, and then you see him go through the portal, and you're like, oh, okay, he's fine, and then he just goes back in, grabs a chair, and dips out. You're like, what?
Yeah, especially he's getting chased after Captain Clark too. He's getting chased by the fucking monster of the back rooms, and he says, "Yeah, I have to get proof of this. Let me get some furniture while I'm here. Fuck, let me go shopping." And then he grabs one of the the fucked up chairs. Like, oh, this looks cool. All right, buddy.
Let me sell this. I need it anyways. I mean, he probably did it because he wanted to be sure, like he wasn't dreaming. But like,
yeah,
even then, like, come on.
Yeah. I'll say,
I don't know.
I want to go into a different point here. I feel like we've been talking on this a bit, but
yeah.
I feel like the movie is at its best when it's not speaking, like it's just showing you what's happening. Like the first 5 minutes, the camcorder, yeah, the first 5 minutes, camcorder, seagull, all of it, fucking amazing. When they have the camcorder again, the two employees get taken by the back rooms, amazing.
Yeah.
When Clark is just walking through the back rooms trying to figure out what that place is for the very first time, amazing. He gets lost. He finds his way out. That's good storytelling visually. Every time they open their fucking mouths, though, every single time, it's always just dilution and dilution and dilution, watered down of what we love.
Yeah, I agree. I will say. My favorite was I'll be honest though, the second time they went on the camera was genuinely the best part.
Oh yeah.
Like you had the first camcorder recorder scene was cool and you're like, damn, that's pretty sick. And then he died and you're like, and then you just see all the Async employees and you're just like, okay, where does this go? And then you just see Clark and you're like, all right, it's a cool intro, but like what does it do about it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
and then you see it eventually show up again for in the whole laundry room scene, and the laundromat and all that. And it's like watching all the walls being as distorted as they were, seeing everything be as fucked up as they were, and then everything suddenly just goes to shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
It's like it was so fast. It happened like that. You know what I mean? And it was so cool watching it go the way it did. I think what oh shit. My battery's about to die. Dang.
I didn't even
I
see.
need to charge in a minute. I'll be right.
Okay, go ahead. I'll keep talking. I didn't even.
No, just keep saying what you're gonna say.
I
I'll be
did.
done.
Okay, I didn't even see movement when they were in the laundromat. Like people keep posting on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, being like, "Oh, did you see the face inside the clothes?" I didn't see the face when I watched the movie. I watched TikTok clips. I still don't see the fucking face. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. If somebody could send me a picture and then like a big red arrow pointing at it, please do that. But I think I like most about it is that there was no music kicking in to signify that the employee was getting chased. I forgot his name, but it's the hot looking dude, the hot looking drug addict. I like that they didn't have any music to signify that. It was literally just movement. I was like, oh shit! It snapped me to attention immediately because I was like, I was already on the edge of my seat, and then as soon as I saw something come above the top of the camera, just peering out of view, I was like, oh no! So whenever he's like, hey, something's down here, get me up! I was freaking the fuck out. I like that about that movie. I'm not that movie, that scene specifically. Now this guy's gone.
I heard everything you said. Just give me a second.
Yeah. While you're doing this, I can whisper to the audience. I could tell you something I do like about you. I like how your ass claps in the wind. I like how your cheeks are always smacking together when you're chewing food. Makes me want to...
Okay, I'm back. I just did a different setup. I just changed where I put my computer. That's all.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, so no, I agree 100%. No, so I agree 100%. Like, it was really, really impressive to watch it go down the way it did. The lack of music definitely helped, and watching everything just like go to shit was really impressive. I mean, you said everything that I basically thought. I think truthfully, like the probably I wish we got to see the workers a little bit more, and I wish they did just a little bit more exploration. But I will say I really liked the girlfriend. I know she died on. She was like, I forgot what the hell's name is.
Oh
She
yeah.
was like, stop! I'm scared. Like,
Hey.
I think that was the best reaction ever.
Yeah. And not only that, Catherine is a day one. She's a day one ride or die. She loves her man, and I respect the fuck out of that. Like he gets dragged
Damn
away,
straight.
immediately takes off. She slides down that bitch like an action hero, just kicks into gear, full sprint
Look at
towards
the
the monster.
fucking-
Like it's,
Yeah, and Clark's just sitting there. He's like, hold on, I need to get this on film. Okay, I got it. Let's go.
and then
And
she's
then
already
it gets
gone.
fucked up.
She's already gone. You wanna wrap it up here in a bit?
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I'll say my final thought on it though was if you guys want to see this movie, I'm not gonna discourage it because when it's up, it's really really up. It's a fantastic movie when it's up, but when it's down, it sucks so bad. It is not good when it's down. It has peak moments, and you go and you want to love the movie so much, but you want to love it because its scenes are so good. Like, but man, when it sucks, it's hard to redeem it. It's hard to justify its shitty scenes because there's no justification for it. And anybody who thinks that it's good, in my opinion, this is going to be a really controversial opinion, an unpopular opinion. I think everybody who thinks it's good is because they're just happy that a Backrooms movie existed. And they need to look at the fact that they need to look at the perspective of people who don't understand Backrooms movies or just Backrooms in general. They need to look at they're forgetting that every movie needs to have a reason to why you should care about the movie. Like they need to prove themselves to the audience, and I don't think that movie completely proved itself. I think it showed it could prove itself, and I think that if Kane makes another movie, I want to see him specifically write it because you know what? I don't think Kane makes something this shitty. If he did so good on YouTube, with barely any budget, if at all, a budget, and he did as good as he did, and then suddenly came to a movie like this, and then just suddenly made this shit. I mean, it was co-written, so I don't think this was Kane's make. I don't think this is Kane's fault for being a bad movie. I think that those bad scenes are not his fault. I think 100. I have no problem with the still lives. I have no problem with the life forms, except for the shitty little Down syndrome Captain Crunch. I have no problems with that. I think outside of that, I think he pretty much did everything fine. I think I'm gonna blame the other director for a lot of the shitty scenes because I think Kane can do it, and I want to see him do it better on his own with a better budget, with the same budget. I wonder if this movie would be way better if he just written it himself, truthfully.
Yeah, I saw.
So that's my thoughts.
I saw a couple of interviews with Kane. This guy is a fucking technical genius. Like, he made the entire Backrooms YouTube series through a 3D blender. I'm like, yo, how the fuck is that even possible? Like, I watched like the technical jargon of how you can make a Backrooms video, all that type of stuff. They just said a bunch of gibberish to me. I was like so unlocked.
It's impressive. I've tried to learn it, and it's just like it's so hard. You have to give him so much credit.
Oh yeah, he is he's a prodigy, especially so young too. This guy, he knows his shit.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Closing thought. I want to close out with two things. One of them is the idea that the Backrooms movie went too slow. I'm gonna read a comment I saw online. I went to a 4 p.m. screening and still fell asleep 3 times in the first hour. This was punishing to sit through for me. I got so annoyed waiting for something to happen, I didn't even want to pay off anymore. It didn't even deliver that. What do you think of that?
Go take a fucking nap, jeez.
Yeah, if you're going to the movie theater...
If you're that tired, go take a nap.
Exactly. Especially for a fucking thriller movie. Like, if you don't feel the tension in the movie, something's wrong with you, right? Like, you wanted something to pay off. You got bored of the movie because your fucking ADHD brain or your TikTok brain couldn't handle some slow burn story. Then fucking watch something else, man. Like, you're here to have a fun time. You can't go in with the mindset, I'm not enjoying it I'm not enjoying it 24/7. There's not stimulation in my brain 24/7, so I'm just going to go to bed. Why are you there in the first place? Why are you even in the movie theaters watching movies? Man, if you want a TikTok stimulation, just watch TikTok clips of the movie. Boom. Problem solved.
I agree.
$16, fucking $20 saved.
Yeah. And I'm going to throw this out here too. Backrooms is not really a slow burn. I don't think Backrooms was a slow movie whatsoever. Actually, for as shitty as it was, it always had my attention.
This is true.
What's a slow burn movie was the first Five Nights at Freddy's movie. That was so slow that I got bored. That was a very slow movie. And I stand by that. I don't care what anybody says. That is a slow fucking movie. And I don't want to... And I've tried to rewatch it, and I almost could not finish it because it was that slow. That is a boring movie, in my opinion. Backrooms is nothing compared to that. Nobody convinced me otherwise. Obsession, even, is a slow movie, in my opinion. But that one uses so many other things to make up for it being slow. I think that movie is a slow burn, but you can't tell... It's a slow burn, but you can't tell it's a slow burn. Like, it's an excusable one, I guess, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like... That's a slow burn. Five Nights at Freddy's is a slow burn. Backrooms is not a slow burn. That's just a story. That's just telling a story.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I don't care what anybody says about that. And if you think otherwise, I don't know. I agree with TJ. You might have some ADHD brain. You might be a little stupid.
Maybe a little bit.
Go watch TikToks. Go watch Instagram Reels. I don't care what you do. YouTube Shorts. Go figure it out yourself. Don't go to a movie.
The final thought I have...
Same Zootopia.
Yeah, exactly. The final thought I have is the image of the Backrooms. It was just a picture, right? He made the picture in Blender and then posted it, and then everybody just took off from there, right? The horror was implied because everybody just had there was nothing there in the image, just an atmosphere, and they ran with that. That's good. People can run with that, do some amazing stuff with the story, and make their own worlds out of that. Why was the same not said for the characters, right? They didn't have that same thought in mind when making the dialogue or the characters written. Like, everything, like, the Backroom story is all implied through fucking atmosphere, horror of the mind. But the characters, they don't let anything rest. They just say literally all they're thinking, all they're feeling, all they're seeing. They just fucking throw it all out to you plain as day. And it kind of gets rid of the mystery of the characters in a way, so you don't really feel as attached to them. At least for me, I didn't feel attached to Clark until, well, I felt attached to Clark in the first 20 minutes, and then after the kitchen scene, I was like, well, there he goes, I guess. I'm like, all right, so now what? But I feel like they could have done a lot with the mystery of the characters just through not sharing literally everything that they feel, say, or want to do. I don't know. That's all I had to think about with the Backrooms. By the way, I went into the movie with a notepad and wrote down everything I thought. It looks like
Yeah,
it looks like
my girlfriend thought you were really weird for that.
it looked like a schizophrenic's writings over here. Hold on. Oh, let me go through some of them. I can't even read this. I can't even read any of this stuff. Know how to do storytelling. Alzheimer's. I think it says Alzheimer's. I can't even tell.
Dude.
But before we end it, what did Allie think?
Back to a movie and you don't even remember. She thought it sucked. She didn't like the time frame. I mean, for all the reasons we said, one thing she did complain the most about was the time frame between everything. She said she could not tell how much time had passed between each scene because it was so sporadic. And each character had changed so much in what seemed to be in a short amount of time.
Like, I think especially with Clark disappearing in the back rooms for like however long he was in there, I want to say it was a month. If we got that time frame, I feel like it would make a lot more sense as to how he ended up the way he did.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like, I've been like, damn, I haven't seen him in a couple weeks. Wonder what happened. You know what I mean? Let me go check on him at work. Let me see if he's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that happens, and then Clark, and then she goes in, you know, and then that makes a little bit more sense. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the only reason that she knew he was in there was because of all the work he had put around it with parameter and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he needs to so that's just my thing. I think he needs I don't know. I just think that if they gave more time frame to her realizing that it's been a while, I think it would have been different. But considering the fact there's none, it just looked like it took two. I genuinely thought a day had passed, and she just suddenly was like, "Clark, where are you?"
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe it gave.
And then, yeah, I was like, "It's only a day, and you're that concerned? What?" And the next thing you know, Clark's like insane, batshit crazy. I'm like, "You've been in there for a day, and you're already batshit crazy? What the fuck?" You know what I mean? And then I'm like, "But everything else doesn't make sense for it to be a day." But then you go, well, how long has it actually been? A week? 2 weeks? A month? A year? Like what? And then you start questioning. So I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pretty. The movie isn't bad. Not great though. I hope the next one's better if they do create another one.
That's about all I had to say about Backrooms, though. I feel like I've exhausted myself talking about it because I chose not to talk about it in the car ride home just because I wanted to save all my thoughts for the podcast, and I got all of them out, like especially all the frustration I had with my expectations being not belittled. What's the word I want to say? My expectations getting fucked in the butt.
That's a great way to describe it.
Yeah, pretty much. But that's all I had to say.
Got your butthole licked and the dick stuck right into it. Told, hey, you know what? It's not a good movie.
But yeah, that's about it. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Trevor, go ahead and say, go give us a sign out.
Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Next one, I don't know what we're talking about, but it'll be something cool. This is TJ.
This is TJ.
The dude with the emo gift. This is TJ with the emo gift. If you look at him, mine is Patrick because Patrick starts cooler, obviously. Yeah. See you guys. TNT signing off.
See you, and I hope you enjoy your Christmas tree and your parties and all that. Deuces.
Dude, what is he saying?